Deep beneath the Pacific, something grabbed Marcus's arm and wouldn't let go. He spun around, heart slamming, and found himself staring into the face of a wild harbor seal. It was pulling at him, biting softly at his gear, looking at him with dark, frantic eyes that made absolutely no sense. Was it angry? Playing? Scared? Marcus had no idea, but the seal did. 15 years of diving. That's how long Marcus had been doing this. Shipwrecks, sharks, ocean trenches that most people only ever see in documentaries. He thought he knew the underwater world the way you know an old neighborhood. Comfortable, familiar, full of surprises, but never truly shocking. He was wrong. The day had started perfectly. The kind of visibility that makes you forget you're underwater at all that deep, saturated blue that sits somewhere between a dream and a painting. Sunlight came down in long, broken shafts, catching the reef and turning everything gold. Fish scattered around him as he moved through the kelp forest, slow and easy, breathing steady. He was alone down there, peaceful. And then he wasn't. Something rocketed out from behind a boulder to his left, small, fast. Before Marcus even registered what it was, it had wrapped itself completely around his forearm. A harbor seal, round and glossy, about the size of a well-fed Labrador. It clung to him and immediately began to writhe with this frantic twitching urgency that shot a bolt of cold adrenaline straight through his chest. He stopped moving. Rule 1 when an animal does something you don't understand: freeze, assess, wait for it to lose interest, and leave. Except this seal had no interest in leaving. It started to spin. Tight, frantic circles its whole body corkscrewing through the water. Dark eyes locked on Marcus the entire time. Then it grabbed his hand. Both front flippers wrapped around it, and it pulled. Not the way a playful animal bats at something shiny. This was effort, strain. The seal's little body went rigid with the force of it, and it looked up at him with an expression so desperate and direct that Marcus genuinely did not know what to do with it. He pulled back. It pulled harder. He tried drifting sideways. The seal repositioned and bit gently at his wetsuit sleeve, dragging him toward the surface. What is happening? The question looped through his head while he watched this animal work itself into a visible panic. In 15 years, nothing wild had ever treated him like this. Seals were curious, sure. They'd circle you, maybe nudge you, then vanish. This was different. This animal wasn't playing. It was trying to accomplish something. He reached out slowly, the way you'd approach a dog you weren't sure about. The seal grabbed his hand instantly, pressed it between its flippers, stared up at him with an intensity that made him feel absurdly like he was failing some kind of test. It's trying to tell me something. The thought arrived clearly. Then he immediately felt stupid for thinking it. Seals don't have messages for humans. They don't form intentions. Except the behavior was so pointed, so persistent, so weirdly specific that he couldn't shake it. The seal swam upward, stopped, looked back at him, swam upward again. Did it 3 times, like a dog standing at the door. Then came back down, grabbed his arm, and pulled. Up. Everything about it was saying up. Marcus didn't move. He still didn't understand. And after a few long minutes of this, the seal finally let go. It floated there for a moment, facing him. And if an animal could look exhausted and disappointed at the same time, that's what it looked like. Then it turned and disappeared into the blue. Marcus let out a long breath through his regulator. Okay, whatever that was, it's over. He turned back toward the reef. 30 seconds later, the seal was back. And it had brought a friend. 2 of them now, circling him in tight loops, heads together, letting out these low, muffled barks, the underwater version of an urgent conversation. Marcus watched them go back and forth, genuinely baffled. He reached out and scratched one on the head. It tolerated this for exactly 1 second, then pulled away and went straight back to nudging him. They worked on him for a few minutes, pushing, pulling, barking. Then, like before, they stopped. Their energy shifted. Something heavy came over them, and they swam away together, slower than before. Marcus's pulse was climbing now. Something was wrong. He couldn't name it, couldn't point to it, but 15 years of being underwater had built a kind of instinct in him that was currently screaming. Then the water went dark, not from a cloud passing overhead, from bodies. He turned slowly. Seals. Everywhere. A dozen. maybe more, arranged in a wide ring around him, every single one of them watching him with that same burning, searching focus. Marcus had faced sharks. He'd been caught in currents that nearly dragged him into open ocean. But nothing had ever made him feel quite like this strange combination of awe and pure animal fear, standing at the center of something he couldn't explain. Then, one of the larger seals swam directly above his head. It gripped his shoulders with both flippers and pushed, upward, hard. Another pressed flat against his back, body weight against his spine, a posture unmistakably similar to a lifeguard hauling someone to shore. A third took his hand and pulled toward the surface. And Marcus understood, not gradually, all at once, like a key turning in a lock. The full picture, the whole bizarre, impossible, heartbreaking picture clicked into place in an instant. They thought he was drowning. That first small seal had looked at a motionless human being, sitting silently at the bottom of the sea, and drawn the only conclusion that made sense from where it stood. This air-breathing creature is in trouble. It's not moving toward the surface. It's just sitting there. Something is wrong. And so it had done the only thing it could think to do. It tried to pull him up. When it couldn't manage alone, it went and got help. When two couldn't do it, they went back for more. An entire wild colony had assembled, organized, coordinated, working in tandem to rescue a man who didn't need rescuing. Because one small seal had decided he was worth saving and refused to stop trying. Marcus made a decision. He was going to let them save him. He placed his hand gently on the nearest seal and stopped resisting, allowed himself to be guided. The whole group shifted around him as he rose, less frantic now, more purposeful, like they could finally feel progress happening. The water changed as they climbed, darker blue giving way to lighter, colder to warmer, pressure easing from his ears. When his head broke the surface and he pulled the regulator free and took a real breath of open air, the seals absolutely lost it. Barking, spinning, launching themselves out of the water and crashing back in pure, uncomplicated celebration. They'd done it. The drowning human was breathing. Mission accomplished. Marcus treaded water in the middle of this wild little riot and laughed, actually laughed, which probably looked insane to anyone watching from a boat. One by one, they peeled off, slipping back under the surface, heading home. The last one, small, round, the one that had started all of this, paused at the waterline for just a moment. It looked at him. Marcus looked back. Then, it was gone. He floated there for a long time, just floated, face up, staring at the sky. 15 years in the water, and he thought he understood the ocean, its moods, its dangers, its rhythms. He knew it the way you know something you've studied carefully, spent real time with, earned a certain confidence about, but he'd never been humbled by it. Not like this. A wild animal had watched a stranger and decided, without hesitation, that helping was the right thing to do. When it failed, it didn't quit, it adapted, it recruited, it came back with more. It did everything within its power. And when that still wasn't enough, it found a way to make it enough. Marcus would dive again. That was never in question. But he'd get in the water differently now, a little less certain that he was the most intelligent thing down there, a little more aware of the eyes that might be watching, and a little more grateful for what they might do if he ever truly needed them. The ocean doesn't owe anyone anything. That day, it gave anyway.